Good morning, everyone. So, in the last session, we are trying to discuss about the Spring MVC example here. So, what are the basic concepts we identified here? So, let me open this particular Spring MVC, and inside this particular MVC, so what is the main class we created? Something like a home controller. So far, we don't have much information here. Just simply, we created one controller class, and we provided this particular request mapping here. Okay, so now what we will do, we'll try to provide the, if I'm trying to run this example, it will not going to execute properly because here we don't have the view resolver. So yesterday up to this particular handler mapping section, we up to handler mapping we discuss here. So this is the dispatches alert we identified here, and internally the dispatches alert basically it is moving into the handler mapping. Okay, so from the handler mapping, now what happened internally? It is going to check with the controller classes. Okay, so for the controller classes, now it is trying to return the model and view. So MEAV. Getting the point. The model and view it is trying to return. Whenever it is trying to return this particular model and view, based on this particular logical view name, it will try to connect the view resolvers. Okay, it is trying to connect the view resolver. So what kind of the view resolvers we can identify? So we'll try to identify with multiple view resolvers we are having. So in that view resolver, we'll try to discuss about the famous one. So internal resource view resolver. Okay, internal resource view resolver. So this is one of the basic one we are going to use in our Spring MVC applications here. If I'm going to provide the information, so observe carefully internal resource view resolver we are having here. Now I'm trying to click on this particular enable option here. Now, so this is the one of the view resolver we are going to discuss here. So what exactly this particular view resolver is going to identify here? It is going to take two properties here. So what are the two properties it is going to take here? So where the properties we are having? So set to view classes here. So these are all the view classes, and internal resource view is expecting here. Now the internal resource view, it is going to extend from this particular the URL based view resolvers here. So here you can see we are going to provide this particular suffix and prefix here. So based on this particular suffix and prefix here, we are going to provide the view names here. Getting the point? So this is one of the important we need to understand here. So which view resolver we are discussing here? We are trying to discuss about the internal resource view resolver. Okay, internal resource view resolver. This is one of the important example we are going to discuss here. Now, what happened internally? The internal resource view resolver, it is trying to understand based on this particular prefix as well as suffix here. Okay. So we'll see how this particular prefix and suffix is going to work internally. Getting the point. Now we'll try to create this particular internal resource view resolver object here. So how we can create this particular object here? So we need to provide the information inside this particular our configuration file here. So let me provide this particular configuration file. So once this particular view resolvers are created, it will try to load the actual view pages here. Okay, so I identify this particular diagram. Now we are trying to close this particular diagram with help of this particular view resolvers and the original view names here. Okay, so now you can see inside this particular spring-solid.xml, we need to create the view resolvers first. So bean ID, what we can write here, So identify this particular class here. Okay. So identify the particular packages also as well. And here this is the bean we are creating, and internally what is the property we can provide here? What is the name of the property we are having here? So if you go to this URL base here, we are having prefix here, and another one is suffix here. So this is the prefix I'm trying to providing here, and another one. So copy this suffix here. Okay. So these are all the two properties we can add here. So whenever we are adding this particular two properties, now what we can do here, we need to create the one folder. So this particular folder, it is trying to provide the information about the views related sections. So under this particular views related section, now I'm going to provide the file call home.jsp. Okay. So I'm going to provide this particular file call home.jsp. Now what you need to understand here we need to provide the value also. The prefix we provided here, and value we should provide. So what is the value we can provide here? Something like, now if you see web inf views here. Okay. So this is the value we need to provide for the prefix here, and suffix, if you observe carefully, what is the file extension? The file extension is basically JSP. Okay. The file extension is basically here JSPTs. So this is one of the important the view resolver we need to understand here. One of the view resolver we need to understand. Now if you observe carefully, what exactly the view resolver it is doing here. So if you observe carefully, whenever the model and view we are trying to return from the controller, it will try to connect with this particular internal resource view resolver to return the original view name. So where the original view names are available, so inside this particular path, it is going to take the extension of this particular JSP. Getting the point? So it is trying to take the extension of this particular JSP. So this is very important information we need to understand here. Getting the point? So internal resource view resolver. So this is the name of the view resolver class we are configuring this, and once we configure this particular view resolver, so it will try to identify the path where we are having the original the JSP files here, and the extension of this particular view pages here. So this is important we need to understand here how the internal resource view resolver it is going to connect. And finally what we can provide, so this is the home.jsp. So inside this particular home.jsp, now what we can identify here, simply what we can identify here, so HTML tag here, and so head tag, and simply the body tag, and inside the body tag h1 tag, and here welcome to Spring MVC. Okay. So this is the particular home.jsp we are having here. Now we are not writing much code here. Okay. So title Spring MVC application. Getting the point? So Spring MVC application, I'm trying to providing this. So we don't have a much code here. Okay. So whatever we defined here, this is the home.jsp file we define here. Okay. Now what you need to understand here, this particular message we need to get whenever we are going to run our application here. Getting the point? So we'll see whether we are going to get this particular message or not. So if I want to run this, now you can see we need to run on the server here. Okay. We need to run this particular example on server. So here you can see already I configured this particular server earlier. Because of that, I'm able to run this example. So if you're not configured, now what you can do, so go to here inside this server section. Inside this particular server section, you need to add the server. So I'm trying to add this particular time card 9.0 server here. Okay, so try to download the server from the Tomcat website here. So mostly it will try to Tomcat 9 download here. Now you can see. So this is the 64-bit here. Now you can click on this and it will download the all the sections here. Okay, so here we are having the 10 version, 9 version, as well as something like two different versions. We are having 8.5. So you can click on this, it will try to download the latest version. So here you can see 8 to 9 or 10 version. So any one of the version you can download here. Okay, so you can see 32 or 64-bit. So Windows Service Installer, it will identify here. So based on the IDE, whatever the IDE you are trying to run here, so based on that, you need to select the Tomcat version and you can download this particular section here. Okay, now I'm trying to run this particular example because I had already downloaded this particular Tomcat 9. So because of that, I'm trying to run the same example here. Okay, so every time I'm going to use this particular Tomcat version. Now we are running our application in the where we are running server. So if you see carefully what happens internally, we are not getting any error here. These are all the information here. Getting the point. So this is the information we are having. Spring-solid.xml file is loading here. Now you can see loading XML bean definition from the servlet context here. Okay. So this particular file is loaded. But now if you see the application is not coming whatever we are expecting. So we are getting 404 error. So which page is trying to identify here? Getting the point. Which page is trying to identify? The home.jsp it is trying to identify. So first what we can do, we'll try to put a breakpoint here. Whether this particular here we can identify the message something like this home page method is calling or not. Just I'm adding one sysout here to understand basically whether it is calling or not. Getting the point. So this is important we need to understand here. So whenever we are running this particular application in the server, we need to identify here. So whether the classes are running or not. Now you can see the class is not running. Getting the point. So the message, whatever the message we defined here, we are not able to see the particular message. What we are missing? The class is also not loading. Why the class is not loading? Any idea? So why the class is not loading here? Because in from the Spring core onwards, we are trying to discuss about this example here. So why this method is not calling you? So this is the message we are expecting in the console, but we could not see this particular message here. So we are not getting any exception. So simply we are getting no mapping found for this particular HTTP request within the URI. Now, what you understanding is basically the dispatcher servlet is trying to handle here, but the dispatcher servlet it could not identify which handler mapping we want to call. Okay, basically how we are going to create this object. The home controller, how we are going to create this particular object. So this is important here. We did not provide the information about the the controller annotation, how it is going to work here. Okay, because here we are trying to use the XML configuration. So only this particular bean we configure. The remaining beans we need to configure or we need to share the some information here. Okay, the first one First one here, what is the base package we are trying to use it? What is this particular base package we are going to use it? Getting the point. This is important. We need to provide com dot spring dot MVC because we discussed this particular component to scan this particular attribute here whenever we are trying to execute the main annotation example. Okay, this is important. And after this, whenever we are trying to discuss about the auto wire, this particular annotation config is important here. And now we are discussing about the controller annotation. So when we are trying to discuss about the controller annotations here, this is important. We need to understand here. So here, what is another important section we need to write here? Okay, it is not loading. So let me provide the namespace here. So MVC annotation. So this is the important section we need to add here. Whatever this particular three configurations we already discussed here, only this we need to discuss here because whenever we are trying to discuss about the controller related sections here, because we are executing the example with help of this particular annotations. So because of that, we need to add this particular property information here. Okay. So now we added, these are all the informations here. Now once we added this, again I'm trying to run the same example. Now you can see the home page method is calling. Getting the point? The home page method is calling, but right now, if we observe carefully what happening internally, so it is trying to load the page called views home.jsp. Getting the point? Views home.jsp. So whatever we given, the path is wrong here. Getting the point? Here only it is providing. It is trying to load the home.jsp, but whatever the configuration we provided, that is wrong here. Getting the point? It's trying to load the views homepage.jsp. Getting the point? So now what we need to identify here, now if you see here, we are not going to get any exception. So you can see nothing is there. These are all the logs here. It's like a information it's trying to load here. Okay. So what we need to, what we are doing the wrong mistake here. Now I will show you what we are missing here. If you go to this, here we did not given the slash here. This is important because views is a folder. So under the views, we are having some .jsp files here. Under the views, we are having some .jsp files here. So because of this, we could not get the proper home page here. Now, if I'm going to run the same example, we'll see how it is going to run here. Now you can see what happens internally. Welcome to whatever we define the Spring MVC we are getting here. Getting them. So whatever we define here, now we are able to see this particular example here. Okay. So here you can see the title, whatever the title we provided here, something like Spring MVC application is the title, and this is the body of the H2 message we define here. Okay. So this is important, but how it is appending internally? So it is going to append like this. webinf slash view slash home.jsp. Okay, so this is the home.jsp internally. It is going to connect with this particular prefix and it is going to connect with this particular suffix here. So because here we are providing this particular view name from our controller. So based on this particular view name, now it is going to append this particular information. So in the views in the views folder, whatever the home.jsp we are having, the file it is going to load it. If the file is not available, so again same, the main page we are not going to get, we'll get the 404 error. Getting the pen? We are going to get this particular 404 error. So any questions on this? Whatever we are discussing, this is the basic example. It's like a Spring MVC application we are discussing here. Any questions here? Okay. So now we identify this is the basic example with help of this particular Spring MVC. Now what we will do, we'll try to connect the Hibernate related example, whatever we discuss here. Okay. We'll try to connect the Hibernate, something like we'll from the Spring MVC, we'll connect the Hibernate. From the Hibernate, we'll try to store the data into the database. Okay. So what we can do, we'll try to create the something like a login and register information. So we'll click on the login to log in our application, and we'll try to click on this particular register to register the user to our applications here. Okay. So how we can define that? So we need to create multiple classes and multiple structure information. So now observe carefully what are the information I'm going to create. So I'm not modifying the packages. So the same package we are going to use. Otherwise, you can go to the different packages sections here, because we already discussed the package section in the multiple places here. So no need to discuss one more time here. Okay. So in the same package, I'm going to add the particular classes sections here. Okay. First one, login I'm trying to create here. Okay, so this is the login class I'm trying to create. And now ID I'm providing here. And here, so username, password. Okay. So these are all the information we need to understand here. So this is the login class. So username and password we are going to have. Now after this, now what I will do, I will try to generate this particular sections here. Okay, this is the login class. Now finally, one more class I'm going to create here, something like a register. Okay, so inside this particular register, again I'm going to provide the private long ID, first name, last name, email, and so what we can provide here, so username, password, and confirm password. Okay, so anything we can add. I think these all the properties are enough here, whatever we are adding here. So with the help of this particular register class, the user, it will try to register into our application. Getting the point. So once a user is registered, now what we can do, we'll try to give the credential to log in our application. So without the login credential, so the user cannot log in here. Okay. Now, so this is the information we can implement here. Now, if I'm trying to generate the setters and getters, I'm going to select all the information. Okay. So this is all about the classes here. So finally, now what I'm doing here, I'm going to create what is the information, because it is a user service. Okay, so user service I'm creating here, and inside the user service I'm going to create one more class, So user repository. Okay, these are all the main classes we are going to create. Now, so inside this particular user repository and user service, now what are the file like information we can provide here? So inside this particular user service, first we need to add the annotation called service annotation. Okay, service annotation I'm adding. So after this, now what I will do, here I'm going to add private user repository and so you can add the same user repository. After this, public here something like a boolean. What is the information we can provide? Save user. Save user. So I'm trying to pass the register here. Okay, and here return user repository dot save user register. Okay, so this is the save method we are calling here. Now we'll create a method inside this particular user repository, and if I'm going to add here something like hibernate template, so we don't have because we did not added the jar section. Okay, we'll add the particular jar section. Now what we can do here, we can add the repository annotation because we are trying to discuss about the database information. Now we'll go to the home controller. From the home controller only, we are going to provide this particular information. Now you can see, so what we can do here, we need to write the multiple files. So first one, model and view I'm trying to return. Getting the point. I'm trying to return this particular model and view, and here load login page. Okay, so login page. Now what we can do, so to load this particular login page, we need to provide the same request mapping and here login. Okay, so simply what we can do here, so we need to add this particular return model and view, and here login page I'm trying to provide it, and after this add attribute here, so something like login new login object here. Okay, so this is the information we need to provide for this particular login. And the same way, now what I will do, I am going to use the register. Getting the point, because two pages we need to load here. So either login or register here. So here, now what I'm doing here, register page. So now what we can do, here we can modify the register, and here we need to provide the register class. Okay, so these are all the completed. Now what I'm doing here, I'm going to paste one more time, and here login process. Okay, login process. Now what I will do, so another one is register process. Getting the point. So these are all the main files we are going to use in our home controller. Now stop the server, and here what you can do, private user service and user service. Now what is the annotation we can make here? Auto while. Okay, so this is important, we need to use it. Now after this, what I will do, here I'm going to use the register process. Register. Okay, and now what I will do here, so here we are going to call user service dot save user, we'll call the register. Okay, so here we are going to get Boolean value. Now the Boolean value I'm trying to provide. So if this particular save user is true, if the save user is true, now what we can do here? Simply we'll return home page. And here, what is the objective we can provide? Something like a success message. Uh, okay, now what we can provide here? Successfully registered. Okay, so this is the message. And in the else section, now what I need to write here? Same, I want to write the model line view where we can move. So inside the register page here. Okay, so here I want to write the same register page here. So inside this particular register page, we can come up with a add a object here. We'll try to specify the message error and so registration fail. Try one more time. Okay, so this is I want to provide the message here. Getting the point. This is important. Now you can see when we are trying to click on this particular, why it is failing in the user service. We already created the method. Okay, maybe I did not save this. Okay, now it is saved successfully. Now what we are doing basically here, we are trying to add the messages here. Okay, this is one of the important example we need to understand. So here we are adding not login. We need to change to the register. And login process we'll discuss. The login process we'll discuss later. I'm not providing much code to this particular login process. So first we'll see registration. So now if I want to save this particular register information, what is the jars we need to add? The jars we need to add from our Spring core, whatever we added here. So context not required, JDBC is not required here. So ORM and Hibernate core. So up to this, okay, these are all the main file we can add into this particular form file. So when we are discussing, we'll try to provide the same jars here. ORM also I'm trying to take the same version. So we'll see whether all the files are downloading or not. Now it is downloading here. Okay, so now all the files are downloaded. Now what we can do, we'll try to generate the Hibernate template. So which one we are using? We are trying to use the 4 version here. Now what we can do, Hibernate template. So with help of this particular Hibernate template here, we'll try to generate this particular example here. Okay, so here Hibernate template dot save objects. So here we can save the register. Getting the point. And now what I will do here, I'm going to use the auto while. Okay, so whenever we are using this particular auto while, so just simply we'll configure all the classes whatever we configure inside the which one the file that Hibernate. So Hibernate template, session factory, data source, person DUI, it's not required here. We'll try to paste it, this all the information under this. Okay, and in the resource file, we need a Spring JDBC dot property file also. In the resource, I'm going to pass this, and another one, property placeholder. Okay, so this also I'm trying to paste. So I'm trying to paste it into this here. Hibernate transaction manager will go for the 4 version. And so Hibernate template also we can go for the 4 version. And local session factory bean also we are discussing about the 4 version. So here we are not using the person. So which one we are going to use? First one we'll use the login, getting the point. And the second one we'll try to use the register. Okay, second one we'll try to use the register. Now where we can create here, so we'll try to create this particular XML files here. Okay, so login.hbm.xml. So now this is the login.hbm file here. Close this and create a one more file here. Register.hbm.xml. Now what we can do, we'll try to copy the whatever the user and what is the one-to-one association we discussed in the last example. Let me go to this user and address. Let me copy the user and address here. So user information I'm going to paste it inside the register, and address I'm going to paste it in the login. Okay, now we'll modify the changes here. Whatever the changes we are having, we need to modify this. So Spring Core, I'm closing this, and com.spring. Instead of Hibernate, what is the package we are having? MVC. And what is the table like a class name we are having? Something like login. And here also we'll provide the table name login, and ID login ID. So we'll go for the register. Okay, so we are going to make the foreign primary key and the foreign key relationship here, and here so what we can provide, username. Okay, and another one is password. Okay, so this is, we'll remove this, and here what is the property we are going to discuss here? One-to-one register. Okay, so what is the class? So constraint 2 we are going to make as it is. So this is one of the important, the login class. Now what we can do, we'll go to the register. So inside this particular register, we'll remove the component section, and we'll go for the package name first here, MVC package, and instead of user, register class, register table, and register. Okay, so we'll go for the same native, and here username. So instead of username, what are the properties we are having here? First name. Register.class. So this is, we need to copy all the properties here. First one we copied here. Last name. So last name here. Okay. Last name, email, and so username, password. I think this is fine. So these are all the section we are having. It's fine here. Okay. So now we'll go to this register class. We'll copy the email section. After email, okay, so not needed this email and password. So because we are not going to use, so these two column in the register class. Okay, so register class we are not going to use it. But what we can identify here. So now observe. Let me go to the register class. Here we need to generate the private login class. Getter setters here. So select all and generate this particular getters and setters here. And the same way we need to go to the login class. Inside the login class also private register. Okay, so click on the setters and getters, select all, and we are generating setters and getters. Now we'll come back to here. Here register we provided, so register class and constraint to, and the same way register file. Instead of address, login. Okay, we'll go for the cascade here. So this is important example we are discussing, one-to-one association. Getting the point. Here login and register we are having one-to-one association. Okay, so we created this particular mapping file. Now we'll come back to here. Now what we can do, here we need to create the login object. Login, new login we need to create here. So login dot set username. Register dot get username. Where is the username we are having? So this is the username. Okay, and after this login dot set password. The password here, so as of now as it is I'm setting here. Later we can discuss the encryption password, how we can set here. Now password. Okay, these are all the two columns. And the same way login dot set register we are having register, and register dot set login. Okay, this is the way of setting here. Now what we can do here, we need to write the conditional code here. Save here. So the save we are having serializable section, object not null, serializable. Then we can go for the so here now what we can do, we'll try to return the boolean dot true. So else we can write false here. Return. Okay, so this is the way of saving the data into the database. Now, what we are doing is we are trying to providing this particular Hibernate template and save user method we are calling, and we are trying to pass the register object. From the register object, we are passing the login object credential here. Okay, so first from like we are setting in the login credential, and the same way we are trying to set into the user information. So finally we are saving this. So now, so once we save this, now what we can do here, we'll go back to the all the classes home controller. What we are doing here, we'll call this process and we'll register this. If anything fail, we'll go back to the same register page only. Now what we can do, so register service we provided here, and here we need to write the auto while. Okay, now this is the example. Now what we need, we'll try to run the same example. So again we should get the home page. So we did not discuss about the login and user pages here, but we need to get the home page. So we need to identify why we are getting the file not found here. So JDBC properties is not identified here. Okay, whatever the JDBC properties we provided, it is not identifying here. So why it is not identifying here? Let me go to this. What anything we are missing? So location, in the source directory only, it should load here. So this file is trying to load from the where location we provided spring-jdbc dot properties here. It should be okay. Let's see any other property we are having inside this particular class. 414 429. We'll go for the 414 only. System properties mode, environment placeholder. Okay, system properties. No. Okay, system properties also we can set here. Resolve system property. Okay, let's see. We'll discuss this file in the main folder. What happened? Maybe it will try to look up this. Here I will provide. Okay, we'll run the same example because now the Spring configuration is available in the web context content file here. No, again it is not loading. Could not load the file here. Let me add a class path here. We'll see this file is not identifying the proper location. So because of this, no. Okay, so we are getting different exception, no class def error. So internally it is expecting Hibernate relate section, Hibernate cache. So reason factory. Why the reason factory is expecting? Maybe because of the 4 version is expecting. Let me modify the Hibernate 4 versions here. Maven repository and Hibernate core. So we'll go for the Hibernate Core 4 versions here. Whatever the 4.1 we are using, we can go for the same. So 4.1 to final. Okay, so 4.1.2 final. So we'll add the same file. Let me see. Inside the POM 362 we are having. Four dot one dot two. Okay, so 4.1.2 final we are having. So we can add this particular file. Okay, now let me run the same example. We'll see. So if we get the same exception, we need to add the files. The reason fact is something we are expecting here. So the particular file we need to add. But now you can see. So with once we change the version here, all the errors are resolved here. Okay, because here the like a Spring version, Hibernate version we made as a same here. Okay, so this is the way of writing this example. Finally, we are coming back to the welcome to the same Spring MVC. And now what we can do, we'll try to provide the important example here. Here we'll try to provide the important section, basically login and registration section here. Okay, how we can provide the login and registration section. So to provide this particular login and registration section, now what we can write inside the home page, we need to write this particular section here. So to write let me go to the view page. Inside the home page, so we'll keep the body as it is here. Now I need to add one tag library. So one tag library we need to add here, something like so tag lib prefix we can go for the form, and URI we can use. So what is the URI we can use? Is Spring Framework related tags. We need to use the Spring Framework related tags here. So http://www dot so springframework.org/tags/form. Okay, so this is we need here. This particular tag library we need to work on this particular Spring related here. Okay, so finally now what I'm doing here. So this is important. We need to understand here. Inside the body, now I'm going to use so form : the form I'm going to use it. Inside the form, so table, and what is the attribute we can use? Something like align. So we don't have that. Only a access key we are having. Why we are not getting this? Okay, only access key we are getting. Okay, anyway, we'll try to write this particular align. We'll see whether we can get or not. Yeah, we are getting it. So right, I'm adding the align right. After this, now what we can define here? So tr and td. So inside this particular td, anchor tag I'm trying to providing. So href login here. Okay, and td we are closing. So we are trying to give the space here. Between these two, I'm going to give the space. So small TDs I'm adding it. And after this, so one more TD. And after this, anchor tag, register I'm adding, register, finally TD. Okay, so we are getting an error here. Table, why this tag is not available? Align attribute is obsolete. Its user discuss the. Okay, so to add a right side section, what is the align we need to use? Okay, so anyway, we'll use this. So it's not going to get any error here. Now, if I'm trying to refresh this, now you can see we are getting login and register. But here we are getting the login and register. So whenever I'm trying to click on login and register, basically what happens here, we need to define the either login page or registration page here. So to register this particular login and register, so I'm trying to create a one more JSP file here. First, we'll go for the register. Okay, so register.jsp. Now here we are getting here by default file here. Now inside this particular body tag, again I need to use this particular library. The tag library, it is important because we are trying to work on the Spring related section, so that we need this. Okay, now what is the content we are going to provide? Title, we can modify the title. Spring, instead of Spring here, okay, we'll write the Spring. So Spring register. Okay, and inside this, now what I will do? So with help of this particular H1, create account, and I'm going to discuss about the same form here. And inside this particular form, now I'm going to use method, something like post I'm going to use here. And what are the other modified names we are having? So command name we need to use, register, and action. So where we need to go to this? So action, something like register process. So this is the form. And after this, again we can go for the same table here. Inside the table, so tr I'm creating, and so td. So inside this particular td, we need to create the file section. So what is the username field we need to provide? So because it is a registration page, so what is the registration page will contain here? First, we need to add a label. So this is the form.label path, and what is the name we are having? First name. Okay, so here we can provide the particular first name section, and another one is td. Here we can provide the input form here. So form colon input path same. Basically these are all the Spring related forms here. Okay, this is important. Now we created this particular tr, first name and last name, email, so username and password and confirm password. So these are all the information we need here. Okay, now what I will do, I will make some format here. Now finally we'll go to the register class here. So it is not loaded here. We'll go to the register class. So it should be match here. Whatever the properties we are using, it should match here. The name of the property and this particular path it should match here. Okay, so it is matching the first name. Now same way we'll go to the last name. Okay, so last name and email.
Excuse me, sir. This TD stand for what?
Basically these are all the HTML related element. So like TD and TR, basically it will give you the format like this. So this is the table we are going to have. This is the table header we will have, that we are not discussing a TH here. So TD and TR, it will provide the information about the spaces between the each and every field. We are going to get the spaces here. So every time instead of printing, so instead of writing the all the columns like this, now what we are doing here, we'll go for the one by one like this. So this is the format. Like let me provide the more information regarding. So this TD and TR, TDI, it's a columns and rows basically. So which column we want to define? So this is going to give the columns and rows. So basically I did not have the much information. So 1 second, we can go to the browser. You will understand how this structure it is going to create here. So we'll see the images TD and TR in HTML. If you go to this, this is the format we are going to print here. So this is the header section, and each TR will contain the item 1, and item 2 it is another TR. So item 1 is a TD. So this entire section we are going to discuss as a TR. So this is the table we are going to create now. So inside the table we are going to get exactly the field length and width, all the information. So if you are not following this particular table, basically we cannot get the fields properly here. So here you can see the HTML what we are having here. So where is this TD and so table data. So they are providing here. So table data, each the table data we are going to load here. So try to read this HTML related information so you may understand very clearly what exactly it is going to provide. So basically it is a table row and a table data here. Okay, so back to here. So email we created. So username. Now finally we'll go for the another two fields here. Password, and we'll go for the last one. Okay, confirm password. Now, so what we need to add here, we need to add the another important section, button here. So for this particular button also we need to copy one more tier, and here now what I am doing here, so with help of this particular tier, so TD not required this, and we'll identify whether we are having any form button. Okay, let me remove this TD. We'll identify what are the form buttons we are having. Otherwise, we can go for the input one. This is also fine here. Input type. So what we can write here? Submit here. And value. What is the value we can provide? Submit here. Okay, so this is the input here. Now we created this particular example. So now command name we are providing the register process. Method should be post. Now if I am going to run the same example, let me refresh this. Oh, sorry. Server is stopped here. If the server is stopped here, now what we can do? Let me run one more time. Okay, so we are getting the home page here. Now I'm trying to close others here. Now I'm trying to click on this register. We'll see. So whatever the page we created just now, the page is coming here. Now you can see how the format is coming. So all this particular columns are coming in the same format here. Getting the point. So because of this particular table structure, we are getting the format here. Getting the point. If you are not following this particular table, you will not get the expected behavior here. Okay. So these are all the basically HTML related concepts here. So just go through the any website, you will understand how the HTML and CSS will work. We are not going to discuss much of these things here. Okay. So mainly we'll focus the Spring related sections here. Now what I will do here, I'm going to provide so the first example, Spring MVC. So email something like spring@mvc.com. Okay, so username. Now what I will do, so spring123. Okay, so password, it is showing here. Okay, the password it is showing. So what we need, we need to hide this particular password here. So what we can do, instead of to hide this particular password, we need to go to the same register and here come back to where is the password. So this is the password, right? Instead of input here, we have the form is coming with the password here. Okay, so we can write the password here so that it will hide the whatever the password we are providing here. Let me go to this particular same page and refresh this. Now we'll try to provide the password. Now you can see it is hiding the password. Okay, so anyway, we'll try to insert the same example. Spring MVC, spring@mvc.com, spring123. So username, and here MVC I'm giving the password. MVC123 we can give. Okay, so MVC123. This is the password. Whenever I'm trying to click on this, now where it is going, register process. So inside the register process, we are clicking on this. Now we'll see write operation not allowed when the read only mode here. So what happening internally from where we are having here trunk your session into the flash mode auto commit transaction definition. Here we are getting some transaction related section here. We need to understand the what happening from where it is getting an exception. So you can see here Spring MVC throw an exception where it is getting write operation not allowed in the read only mode. So something we are getting the flash mode related, but where we are getting here. So user repository dot save user. Whenever we are trying to save this particular user, internally it is connecting the Hibernate template, and Hibernate template it is giving this particular example. Okay, now what we can do, we created the transaction template. Now what we can do, we'll try to add whatever we discussed in the last example. Let me add the particular transaction section here. Here I'm going to provide so here already we have a transaction. Now here also we have a transaction. Now what we can do? Transaction annotation. We can add this. We'll go to the service class. User service. Whatever we discussed yesterday. Transactional. Propagation. So it is going to support here. And read only. We can make as a true. Okay, so this is we can use, and on top of this particular method, so it is not a read only, we can make this propagation required here. Okay, so this is I'm using. Now let me run the same example. Okay, so home page is loading. Now click on the register. So again, fill the information. So meanwhile, when we close the, like we are trying to clear the console. So again, I'm trying to save Spring MVC spring@mvc.com. Okay, so Spring 123 and MVC 123. Now I'm trying to click on submit here. Now you can see what happened internally. Insert into register, insert into login, get in the pen. So it's trying to load the sequence here. So all the data is inserted here. Okay. From the UI pages, whatever we provided, the data is now stored into the database. Now, if you see, so successfully, we'll come back to the our home page. Earlier, we was register page. Once the user saved successfully, automatically, now we are coming back to the home page. Get in the pen. So how we are coming back to the home page? We are in the home controller. We added the condition. What is the condition we added? This one. If the user is successfully saved, we are coming back to the home page. Okay, but what is the message? Why we are not getting this particular message here? Because we did not added the property here. So what is the property we need to add here? The property, if you go to this, where we can add, go to the home page. Inside the home page, in the header section, okay, not H1, we can go for the H4 tag. So here, what I will do, here I'm going to provide the one condition. So to condition this, okay, what is the condition? To add the condition, we need a Java library. Let me add the Java library here. Okay, first we'll see whether do we have any form library. If we are having, we can add the form one only. So it is not coming. Okay, any if condition we have, password, radio button, select text area, checkbox and errors. Okay, so we don't have inside this. Now what we can do, we need to add the Sun library here. Now I'm adding C. The URL http java.sun.com java.sun.com/JSP JSTL core. Let's see whether we are able to see. Okay, we need a library. So what is a library? We need a Java system we added, but why we are getting this? Go to the Maven repository. JSTL. Okay, I'm adding this particular JSTL section here. Now it is okay. It's resolved here. Now what I will do here, I'm going to add H4. Inside the H4, I'm going to provide the condition here. So what is the condition I'm going to provide here? C colon if. This is the condition. Okay, condition basically. So if it is dollar not condition empty. Okay, so what is the empty? Where is the home controller? This register message. Okay, if this particular message is empty, if the message is not empty, now we'll try to print this particular message here. Register message. Okay, this is the one condition we need to add here. So let me go to this. Where is our home page? If I'm going to retry, we are in the login process. Okay. So register message we are getting. It is wrong here. Let me run the same example one more time. Okay, we're coming back to the home page. So meanwhile, we'll identify the username Spring2, and here MVC2 I'm providing spring2@mvc.com, and username so 212 and MVC 212. Okay, MVC 212. Okay, so meanwhile we'll try to go to the example whatever we discuss here inside the JDBC. Why it is not coming? Select star from register. Now you can see. Okay, two records are inserted because the login process one more time we called here. Because of that, two records are inserted here. But anyway, we are trying to inserting one more record here. So Spring MVC2 we are inserting here. Now successfully register. Okay, now you can see here we are getting the message successfully register. Where we provided this particular message here. So inside the home controller, if you see here, this is the message. Okay, successfully registered the message we provided here. Finally, it is coming here. Finally, it is coming here. Okay, this is important information we need to understand here. This is the important information we need to understand here. So we define the registered information. Now we need to log in here. So to log in here, now what we can do? We need to write the one more JSP file here. Login I'm providing here. Now I will click on the finish. Now I will copy the register related sections here. Register related sections I'm going to copy into the login here. Okay, now here, so login, create account. So simply I'm providing the login. So post method, command name login, and login process. Okay, here what we can provide, username. So username, this is the username we are having. Now you can see password. Password, right? Now, okay, so we don't need this email and confirm password. We need a submit button. Okay, so this is we are implementing. Now we'll see whenever we are clicking on this particular login, whether we can see or not the login page here. So the login page is coming. Okay, so just now we implemented the login page, now it is showing. Okay, so whenever I'm trying to give on this username and password, so as of now we did not implemented any informations here. So far we did not implemented any information. So now what we can do? So simply we can write the condition. So what is the condition we can write here? So I'm stopping this. We'll go to the home controller. Here the login process will come into the picture. Let me click on the login. So whenever we click on this is the action it is going to call our application. So login process. Okay. So come back to here, the login, where is that? Login process. So using this particular login process, now what we can do, user service dot load user info. Okay, so load user info. Here I'm going to provide login. Okay, based on this particular login info, now what we can do, here I'm going to provide login. So simply again I will try to return boolean value something like is a valid user. Is a valid user. So let me create a method inside the user service. Now what I will do, and here, so user repository dot load user info. Okay, load user info. I'm not going to provide any parameter. So it will try to return the login login here. Okay, so this is I'm going to load. So login here already available, right? So valid login. Okay, now let me load this. Let me create this particular method inside this particular user repository. Now here what we can do, simply hibernate template dot, so get method we can provide, or so find the method we can provide here. I think so find the method will give you the list of records here, but the list of record it is not a valid information. Okay, find only we can use it. So the query from login, where login L we can write alias name L dot username is equals to question mark, and here this is we can modify this login dot username. Now username. I'm providing the username. Now finally, what is the value it is returning? So let's stop find here. Something like login. So login is completed. This is, it's required here. Find dot is empty. If it is not empty, we can go for the find dot get of 01. Else we can return the null. Okay, so this is important information we are doing here. So press warning for the find here. Now we'll go to the user service. So here we are going to get login object. Now what I will do, so I'm going to compare this. So how we can compare here? To compare this, first we need to go to the login class, and here let me generate the equal sign hash code. This is the equals method. Okay, it is trying to check all the information equals method, and this is the hash code method. So automatically it is generated here. Now finally I am going to call login dot equals method and valid login. Boolean true, else Boolean false. Okay, so this is the base. Okay, so Boolean false. This is the method we are writing here. Now you can see for this method we don't need any transaction. So this is the get operation. So it is read only here. Now you can see home controller will come here. Now same logic, whatever we provided here, we'll try to use the same logic here. Okay, so we'll go for the home page, and here register message only. So we can add, but here the message successfully login. Okay, the message is going to modify, and here it is not needed this. So here we can go for the login. So login fail, try one more time. This is the login process here. Okay, now I'm going to run this. So now you can see it is loaded the home page. Now I'm trying to click on the login. Now login page, and what is the username we are having? So Spring we given, not a Spring I hope. Let's see what is the records we are having. Okay, Spring MVC, not this. We need to go to the. So we need to go to the login page here, login database here. So 123 and 123. Okay. Spring is a capital 1 S and MVC 123. Okay, password is showing here. We can modify the password later, but click on this. Now what we need to understand here. So it should be reflected into the main page here. Why it is not reflecting here? Getting the point. Here only the page is having here. So something is missing here. The like what you can see, login ID, login username, login password. From the login, where the username. Okay. So select query is generated. So once a select query is generated, why the page is not redirecting here? So what we are missing? It should be redirect into this particular login page. Something we got an exception, I hope. So we'll see after adding this particular error section. I want to copy this. After this login, I can use this empty. What we are having error here. So unknown if tag. Okay, so we'll identify. We'll come back from the main page here. We'll see. So again, I'm trying to click on the login. Spring 123. Okay, and MVC 123. We'll see what happening here. Login failed. Try one more time. So something like it is failing here. So why it is failing? That we need to identify here. So that we need to identify. Okay. So to identify here, now what we can do? So we need to run the application in the debug mode. Same debugging server I'm trying to run here. So we'll move later the prospect to here. Okay. What we are having? Any breakpoints we are having? Okay, so we are able to load the home page. Now we'll go to the user service. So inside the user service, we need to put a breakpoint line number 21 here. So here we can see why Spring 123 and MVC 123. We'll identify what happens internally. So valid user. The user we are able to load from the database here. Okay, MVC and username we are getting, and the register object. Why the register it is not loading? Okay, maybe cascade save or update we provided here. We'll see on this later. Okay, so no problem. We'll identify target here. So here we are having first name, last name, password, username, password we did not provide it, but here we provided the email. So like Spring and MVC, every information we are getting here. Okay, so register and as well as user we are getting. So mostly this is failing here. This is failing the information here. Okay, the equals method is failing. So let me go to the login class. So why the equals method is failing here? Now here we need to identify this equals method. So this current object MVC 123 and this is an object MVC 123. Okay, most probably it should match here only. It is not matching. So get class login we converted ID. Okay, other ID. This ID we are getting null here. We are getting okay. So most probably this one is failing here. Other dot ID. So this is the other one. Okay, ID. It is not equals to null. Okay, it should be null. Oh, maybe this is the Oh, this ID is null. The current ID, why it is null? Oh, we are not providing the null. Okay. Okay, anyway, this equals method is failing here, but what we can do, so we'll modify this equals method later. We'll come back to here. Simply, if we are having this particular object here, we can return to home page. Okay, so now what we can do, the equals method is failing here. Simply, I'm going to write this. Objects dot not null, valid login. Okay, so this is the main example. So let me click on the login, MVC123 and sorry, Spring 123 and MVC123. The password we did not modify. Now you can see we are coming back to the home page. So here you can see login and register. So successfully login. Getting the pen. Because of the equals method, we got the login failure, but anyway, from the database we are able to load the information. So this is the way of writing the register and login one to one. So if you are interested, you can make more fields. Not only this particular section, you can add address related fields, contact fields here, and communicate with the contact related table and add with the address table and store the data into the the specific database table. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue this continuation, like we are going to discuss about the how we can validate the each and every column here, and after completion of this we'll try to communicate with one of the important example, something like email sending information we can identify. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue the same continuation example here. So any questions regarding our today's session? Okay, so if we don't have anything, we'll continue tomorrow.